Today, I wanted to talk to you about why people regain weight on a plant-based diet when initially they lost weight. So, my name is Dr. Lori Marbas. I'm a board-certified family and lifestyle medicine physician who's been plant-based myself, for, well, just about 13 years now. And being licensed in all 50 states, I've seen patients from across the country, and this is a recurring theme that I've seen. Why people are doing great initially, they lose weight, and then over months to years, they slowly gain the weight back. Well, now we're going to dive in today about the top reasons why that happens. And if you're new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe and click the little alert button. I think it's a little bell. And anytime I come on here and do a live or post a video, you'll be notified. So I really try to aim to provide actionable items. So these 7 steps are not only just the reasons, but what to do about it. So we'll keep it nice and short and compact, and don't want to waste your time while you're here with me. So I do appreciate you being here. So let's jump right in. Let me grab my notes. Okay. So first of all, many people, when they're first adopting a plant-based diet, they see it as a foolproof way to achieve and maintain a healthy weight. And while many do experience the weight loss initially, some people actually find themselves regaining weight despite the adherence to the plant-based eating. And this phenomenon can be attributed to several factors, ranging from food choices to behavioral and metabolic adaptation. So now we're going to explore why that weight regain can happen on a plant-based diet and actually how to address it. So we're going to go over 7 different causes here, but the first one is calorie-dense plant-based foods. So while plant-based diets emphasize whole foods, some staples are high in calories. So foods like nuts and seeds and avocados, coconut products and oils are nutrient-dense, but also very calorie-rich. So overconsumption of those foods, even unintentionally, can lead to calorie surplus, causing weight gain. Oh my goodness. What is the solution? To be mindful of portion sizes for calorie-dense foods, so you can incorporate them into meals while thoughtfully prioritizing their lower calorie, high fiber foods like vegetables, legumes, and whole grains. So for nuts and seeds, I would say no more than 1/4 cup a day if you're a female, maybe up to 1/3 to 1/2 cup based on the male. If you're trying to lose weight, I would maybe even bring that down to probably 1/3 of a cup. And if you're looking at nut butters and things, no more than probably 2 tablespoons a day. And honestly, I'm not really an advocate of oils. I think if you're a healthy person without weight loss, you can certainly incorporate certain oils in your diet and be fine. But as far as my own diet and those that I recommend to majority of people, I say, why include, liquid fat it's a processed food, has 120 calories per tablespoon, when you can just go to whole foods and get a much better 120 calories. It's a better bang for your bite, so to speak. So that's number 1. Number 2 is reliance on processed plant-based products, okay? So the rise in plant-based eating has led to a boom in processed alternatives. So this could be plant-based burgers, cheeses, and snacks. I've seen them, I tasted them, they're fantastic. Well, some of them are fantastic tasting, not necessarily nutritionally sound, but while they can be convenient and, again, quite tasty, they're often high in refined carbs, fats, and added sugars, which can contribute to your weight gain. So focus, again, minimally on minimally whole, foods with minimally processed. So that would be, again, the vegetables, the fruits, the whole grains, legumes, and again, smaller amounts of nuts and seeds. You really want to look at your labels, check nutrition labels for hidden fats, sugars, and additives. That's really important. Number 3 is overeating refined carbohydrates. So many plant-based diets rely heavily on carbohydrate-rich foods like maybe rice, pasta, bread. Some of these are refined. So while these foods, again, are not inherently bad, excessive consumption, especially of the refined carbs, can lead to weight gain due to their impact on blood sugar and hunger hormones. So the solution is balancing your carbohydrate intake with protein and healthy fats. Again, choose complex carbohydrates such as the quinoa, the sweet potatoes, and whole grain bread to stabilize blood sugar and promote satiety. So the higher protein and the higher amounts of fiber, that is going to be your best bet to really calm down the hunger hormones and feeling more full more often. I've done a video on why are you hungry on a plant-based diet, and that might be helpful if you're finding this might be resonating for you. Number 4 is metabolic adaptations, right? So rapid weight loss at the start of a plant-based diet can trigger some metabolic adaptations, including reduced resting metabolic rate. This means that your body burns fewer calories at rest, making it easier to regain weight if your calorie intake isn't adjusted. You've likely lost muscle mass, which is your metabolic furnace. So that's something to really be thinking of as you're looking to lose weight. So what you want to do, the solution here is to avoid overly restrictive diets that lead to super rapid weight loss. Instead, aim for a sustainable, gradual approach to your weight management. Approximately 2 pounds per week is a good goal while you're incorporating those higher protein foods and some type of resistance training to maintain your muscle mass if you're in a slight caloric deficit. Number 5 is emotional and mindless eating. For some, this perceived healthiness of your plant-based diet can lead to overeating. So emotional triggers or the habit of grazing all day long on plant-based snacks can absolutely contribute to consuming more calories than needed. Plus, if you're grazing all day and you're struggling to lose weight, that is also rising your insulin, right? That increases your blood sugar and pumps up your insulin, again, which promotes weight gain. So what is your solution? Practice mindful eating, right? Pay attention to hunger and fullness cues. Avoid eating out of boredom and stress. Again, emotional eating and those triggers, it can be a very complex thing. I'm thinking about doing a video on how to reframe emotions as they come. That's a whole nother ball game. It's a little bit deeper dive, but just know that there's probably some emotional component of that, just trying to be mindful in the habits of eating. So when you find yourself surprisingly at the refrigerator door or at the cabinets looking for something to eat, ask yourself a few questions. Why are you here? Are you actually hungry? Are you anxious? Are you lonely? Are you tired? There's some things here that you might want to ask yourself. And if anything comes up other than, yes, I'm actually hungry, or if you're not sure, maybe drink a glass of water and go for a quick little walk or something, or do some type of physical activity. And if, 5 to 10, 15 minutes later, you're still finding, I'm still hungry, then you actually might be hungry. But that is just really learning how to tune in to why you're actually hungry. But mindfulness is a very powerful key to this, including cravings. And I've done some other videos also on cravings, so you definitely want to check those out. Number 6 is inadequate protein intake. I kind of mentioned this earlier. So protein is essential for satiety and maintaining that lean muscle mass. Remember, muscle is your metabolic furnace. You got to take care of it, guys. It's harder to get back once you lose it. So if the plant-based diet lacks adequate protein sources like legumes, tofu, tempeh, or plant-based protein powders, in certain cases, again, that's depends on the person, it might lead to increased hunger and overeating. So definitely incorporate a variety of plant-based protein sources to promote fullness and support your muscle health. You absolutely can get enough protein on a plant-based diet, especially if it's not an exaggerated amount or you think you need to have some crazy amount of protein. I absolutely get enough, more than enough, to maintain either 1 to 1.4 grams per kilogram of body weight of your ideal body weight, which I would say, if you're not sure what your ideal body weight is, you can shoot to around a BMI of 22. That's just a rough estimate to get started. The reason I say that is just from my own personal experience. I'd have to go dive into research, but what I've found is that people, they hit closer to a BMI of 22 or under, not too far under, but under, that seems to be where, while suddenly people become insulin sensitive, they start dropping their blood pressure medications a little bit more. Some people do it at a higher BMI, but I have found that it really moves the cholesterol numbers, it moves the blood pressure numbers, it removes the insulin resistance piece. So just some ideas there for you to get started. And finally, lifestyle factors. Weight gain isn't always about diet alone, right? So factors like your stress, poor sleep, and sedentary habits will all contribute to weight fluctuations, even with a healthy plant-based diet. So those elements can absolutely undermine your weight maintenance efforts. So how do we approach this? You want to prioritize holistic approach to health, right? making sure you're moving your body, regular exercise, whatever that means for you, whatever you enjoy. If you can incorporate some type of resistance training, that's even better. Adequate sleep, 7 to 9 hours, depending on what your needs are. Stress management, what does that mean? Well, again, there's a whole element here around stress management, but incorporating some ways of dealing with your stressful situations. Maybe reframing, is this actually something to be stressed about? Sometimes I think that's a great question. And let's say someone cut you off on traffic. A great question I like to ask myself is, I feel an emotion bubbling up of annoyance or anger because someone cut me off in traffic, or they are speeding down the highway and I don't think they should be because of safety concerns. I ask myself, is this really worth the energy to be upset about? And as I am aware of that emotion coming up and I ask myself, is this actually necessary? What gain am I getting from this other than changing my emotional state and using up energy that I can use for other things? What I find is typically I'll laugh at myself. And there's lots of things in my mind to laugh at, trust me. And I'm sure you have that voice in your head that pops up as well. So it's worth thinking about. So, just a little thing that I like to do with those common day annoyances that can add into stress and put you in a foul mood that makes other things more stressful than they would have been otherwise. Anyway, moving on. Those are the 7. Let me go over them again. Calorie dense plant-based foods, reliance on processed plant-based, or I'd say ultra-processed plant-based products, overeating refined carbohydrates, metabolic adaptations with rapid weight loss and not paying attention to that you need less calories at that time, emotional and mindless eating, that's a big one, I understand, inadequate protein intake. Yes, you get plenty of protein on a plant-based diet, but it's going to be a little bit harder to do if you're, a 65-year-old little lady that ate a pound of veggies for breakfast and now you don't want to eat more legumes or whole grains for lunch or dinner, and lifestyle factors. So hope that is helpful. Those are the things that I've seen patients really struggle with, and I've seen thousands of people who eat a plant-based diet. I'm talking about thousands because that is literally all I see. And so, again, I've seen a plant-based patient in every single state of this country. And after 13 years of being plant-based myself, I feel like I'm in a really interesting place to offer this advice because people tell me things. I see their labs. Done a deep dive in behavioral change. Like, I get it. These are the things that I've seen are the top 7. So I hope that is helpful. By the way, if you'd like to learn more, feel free to check out our free masterclass that Brittany, Jerudi, and I put together. It's called basically Mastering the Plant-Based Diet. And with that, you'll lose weight and reverse chronic disease. It's a lot of fun. It's completely free. The link is below. You're going to learn the top 5 mistakes people make on a plant-based diet, our 4-step program to really ultimately plan your plant-based diet and make sure that you're thriving on it. It's a great way to approach your meals. And then finally, you're going to learn the number 1 reason people fail or struggle on a plant-based diet, and it has absolutely nothing to do with recipes or what's on your plate. So I hope you found that intriguing enough to definitely go check it out and register. The link is below. So again, thanks everyone for being here. I so appreciate you. Take care, and sending gratitude, joy, love, and healing your way. As always, I really, really, really want you to know I'm sending this your way. And thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you spending time with me today. Have blessings upon you always.